All right, welcome to lesson 2, lesson 2-1. And this is in unit 2 of course 2 for 7th graders. We're going to start with the warm-up today. I would like you to take your time and complete the first 3 questions. So the first one wants you to fill in the number line diagram with the missing numbers. And then the second one says, what could each of the number lines represent? Invent a situation and label the diagram. And number 3, make sure your labels include appropriate units of measure. So pause the video and take 5 minutes to do that now. All right, welcome back. Let's check your answers. So let's look at our number line. So we skip 1, go to 2, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we can go ahead and fill those in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10. If we look here, we skip a line and then go to 1. So if we skip a line again, we should go to 2. Skip one more line, it should bring us to 3. And then skip again, 4. And then as you can see, our last one is 5. So what could each of the number lines represent? Invent a situation and label the diagram. So let's say this could be cups of cat food to cats. So cat food to cats. And we filled this in, so we can see that the ratios would be 1 to 2. So they would all be equivalent of 1 of this to 2 of that. So we measured our, or filled in our double number line, and we put in some units, and they are appropriate units of measure. All right, so let's go down here. We're going to look at activity 1.2. It says your teacher is going to give you 3 different types of mixtures. 2 taste the same and 1 is different. So if this is what they would be like if we mixed them together. So this corresponds, these ingredients correspond to this cup, these ingredients correspond to this cup, and these ingredients correspond to this cup. And one of these tastes different than the other. Which one do you think that might be? So this first one's a bit darker in color, whereas these two kind of stay the same. So I think this one's going to taste different. And if we're looking at it, so we have our drink mixture and a cup of water, our drink mixture and 2 cups of water, our drink mixture and 1 cup of water. So looking at these, I think this one is going to taste different because it uses a lot more of the flavoring for the water than the others 2 do, and it gives it this darker color. So I would say the first drink mix is stronger because it has more drink mix in it. So I'm going to move my paper so that I can write that. So I would say the first drink mix, oops, because it has more flavor mix added to it. All right, so let's turn the page now and look at question 2. So we were on page 81. We're now going to go to page 82. We're going to look at the top of your page. It says, here are the recipes that were used to make the 3 mixtures. 1 cup of water with 1½ teaspoons of powdered drink mix, 2 cups of water with a ½ teaspoon of powdered drink mix, and 1 cup of water with a 1/4 spoon of powdered drink mix. Which of these recipes is stronger tasting mixture? So I want you to think about that and then come up with your answer. All right, welcome back. So if we're looking at it again, we have the 1 cup of water to 1½ teaspoons of powdered drink mix, 2 cups of water with ½ teaspoon of powdered drink mix, and 1 cup of water with a 1/4 teaspoon of drink mix. And only one of these has a lot of teaspoons of drink mix added to it, with just a little bit of water. So I think the stronger drink mix is going to be this top one, because it's got 1½ teaspoons of powdered drink milk to only 1 cup of water. So that's going to make it a stronger flavor. So I'm going to say the first one has more drink mix. So it's the strongest one. There's more drink mix for every cup in the first one. All right, let's turn the page now over to page 83. We're going to be looking at 1.3 crescent moons. All right, so here are 4 different crescent moon shapes. We have shape A, B, C, and D. And question 1 is asking what do moons A, B, and C all have in common that moon D doesn't. So I want you to take a moment and answer this first question on your own. All right, welcome back. So let's look at these a little bit more closely. Zoom this out just a little bit. So moons A, B, and C, they all look very similar. And if you remember in our last unit, we looked a lot at scale factor. And when we scale things up, it's staying the same. These 3 look very similar, but this one looks a bit more stretched out. So it's kind of wider than the other 3. So moon D is wider than A, B, and C. And we can even say that moons A, B, and C are taller than moon D, are more tall than they are wide. Unlike moon D. So number 2 wants us to now use numbers to describe how moons A, B, and C are different from moon D. So I want you to take a moment and use numbers to help you describe how moons A, B, and C are different from moon D. All right, welcome back. Let's try using something that we did in Unit 1, where we were finding the distance between points. So I'm going to use the middle of the crescent moons, and I'm going to measure how many boxes there are going across the middle. So right here, it looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes. If we go to B, right in the middle, we have 2 boxes, and C is just 1. If we go over and look at D, we have 3 boxes. And then if we look at the height, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes. Let's go here, we have 3. We go over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then if we just connect these two, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We can compare the numbers that we have here. So we go from 12 to 6 to 3, and from 4 to 2 to 1. So if we're looking at that, each one of these is actually half the size of the one that came before it. But then we look over here and we have a small number of 3 on the inside and 4 on the outside. These are all much further apart in distance than 3 to 4. So I could even say the height follows a certain pattern where it divides in half, and then the middle divides in half as well. So these have more of a scale of 1/2, so they would follow a ratio pattern of 1/2. All right, now let's look at question 3. So it says to use a table or a double number line to show how moons A, B, and C are different from moon D. So let's set up, a table. So this is going to take a moment. You can draw this out with your ruler as well. And let's see, so I'm going to want the moon, the widest part, tip to tip, and then the ratio. So I want to divide this into 4 pieces. So we'll go right here in the middle. Go in the middle. And in the middle. And then I'm going to need 1 line at the tops for my labels. So I'm going to create my first row for my labels. And then there are 4 moons, so I'm going to create a row for each moon. Right, and then I'm just going to switch colors. So that way I can see my labels a little bit better. So I'm going to start my first row as my moon, My second row, I'm going to do the widest part. My third, I'm going to do tip to tip. And my last one is going to be my ratio. What is it going by? And now I'm going to grab a different one to put in moon A, B, C, and D. All right, so we already have some of our measurements. So if we look back up at the top, the widest part for moon A was 4. Tip to tip was 12. And then we're going to put our ratio of the widest part over tip to tip, which would be 4/12. But when we simplify that, that comes down to being 1/3. All right, let's look at moon D. Our widest part is 2. Tip to tip is 6. So we're going to have 2/6. And that also simplifies down to 1/3. Now let's look at our tiniest one. We have 1 for the widest part, and from tip to tip is 3. So we actually don't have to simplify this one down because we already have 1/3. Now we can look at moon D. The widest part is 3. Its height from tip to tip is 4. So we're going to do, again, the widest part divided by tip to tip, and we're going to come out with 3/4. So now we have our table. On the back side of this, there is a summary that reviews what we went over. This is on page 84. You're going to complete the homework for page 85 and 66, as well as the cool down for the first lesson of Unit 2. I will see you next time.